Hi, could you have the court reporter come out, please? All right, thank you. Bye-bye.
Yeah. Can we do that no judge with fingerprinting? Or you want to do, I'm sorry, you said you want to do the other.
Well, the court reporter isn't here yet. So, Ray, are you all going to want the fingerprint issue? Whether or not they can take fingerprints, you want that on the record, or are you going to agree to printing?
Judge, I know the court's gonna grant that motion, so it's okay for
Okay.
me to put it now.
All right, so if you'll go ahead and print it.
Okay.
Look at him making assumptions on what the court is going to.
Dick never ever made that request, has been denied over the years.
But you know what? I love to hear the objections, though.
Motions for any kind of pretrial motions are required to be filed 7 days before trial. We're in the middle of trial and you file a motion for printing, that's a motion.
Yes, there you go.
That's my objection.
Okay, I appreciate that objection.
Filed it in 2023.
That'll be overruled. But Ray, I do like that.
I actually made that objection once, Judge, on a Court of Appeals judge who was sitting as a visiting judge.
Mhm.
He goes, I like that. You know.
Yeah.
Oh, we're just gonna turn this in to do it.
October of 2023.
Okay.
There you
We're waiting for the court reporter.
Judge, were we gonna do a few pleas before?
No, we're gonna do the pleas after we. Oh, where's your fingerprint person? Hi, if you come forward. Ray, where's your client?
He's right.
All right,
Oh, he's right here.
she's gonna do the fingerprints.
Is this table?
Yeah.
Are you there, control?
Yes, no, I'm just sitting here because I'm ready to leave and you that trial. I hope.
That's fine. He says he puts Fitbit.
Okay, that's the first I hear.
I want to make you get your sentence.
Hi. Oh, no problem. Take a deep breath. They're doing fingerprints, so you have time to set up and compose.
Oh, sure.
Here's the count on Sean Smith. I believe that's one they say it's gonna work out. And then
Yes, Your Honor.
I'm waiting, thank you, and I'm waiting for the attorney on Christopher Medina. And I do have the plea paperwork for Ochoa. Oh, where is Ray?
He just went to the 175th, Judge. Do you need him? Do you need us now?
Yes.
You want us now? Okay.
Mhm.
We made it to the elevator. Bad time for these.
Yes, we're having a motion, a hearing on this motion for the court to make its ruling. And then we're bringing the jury in. All of the jurors are here. Thank you.
You want it?
All right, thank you. All right, we're going on the record. And 2021 CR 7016, State of Texas versus Jose Lozano. Can I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Hank Wilkins and Daniel Escobar for the state, Your Honor.
Raymond Martinez and Victoria Cruz from Mr. McDonald.
And are you Mr. Lozano?
Yes.
All right. So we're here for the court to make a ruling on the affidavit for search warrant. So defense, the court just wants to be clear with regards to the affidavit for the search warrant. If you review page 1. Right. Do you have a copy of the affidavit, counsel?
I do.
All right. So page 1, where it says where it starts with your affiant has probable cause. That paragraph on page 1, do you have any complaints about that paragraph?
Oh,
Sorry, Judge.
1 second, Judge. You have to do this one? Paragraph 1, page 1.
Okay,
All right, starting where it says your affiant has probable cause, that first paragraph on page 1 that continues on page 2 with that first line. Do you have any objections to that paragraph or any complaints about that paragraph?
I guess my complaint, Judge, is that none of that addresses.
No. I'm going to go paragraph by paragraph. That's what I want to do because I'm staying in the four corners.
Right.
So that paragraph relates to the complaint by the complainant at the location at Home to Suites by Hilton.
Right.
So that first paragraph, no complaints.
I guess I don't know if it's a complaint or just a comment that doesn't address why they believe there's.
No, we're getting there.
Okay.
So I just want to make sure. So there's no complaints about that paragraph on page 2, no complaints about paragraph 2, 3, or 4. Your objection is to paragraph 5, where it says detectives approached the front of the residence to perform a knock and talk. And Bexar County deputies who were located at the location to assist detectives and went to the back door of the location to ensure the safety of detectives and the deputies at the scene. While at the back of the property, deputies were able to see military artifacts that were described, as well as military cargo bags bearing the victim's last name. That's the issue, the search of the backyard. Am I correct? Without a warrant?
Yes, Judge, although I would say the paragraph before it, the last sentence addresses the same issue where they claim that they see something in plain view. I think that clearly they're talking about being in the backyard and seeing something in plain view.
All right, so I make no assumptions with regards to the affidavit for search warrant. I just read it within the four corners and whether or not it's sufficient.
Well, and I agree with that, Judge. I'm just saying, if you read it all together,
Okay.
they're talking about what they're seeing. When they're seeing things, it's when they're on his property, without a doubt, they have to be on his property. And secondly, in the backyard. I don't think there was, you read the totality of it, I don't think they saw anything in the front yard or in the entrance that gave them any rise to have articulable facts to including a probable cause affidavit.
All right, the sentence that the court is looking at, it says, while at the back of the property, deputies were able to see military artifacts. It doesn't say while at the back of the property, the detectives saw the gray camper shell.
I mean,
Okay.
I hear what you're saying, Judge. I mean,
No.
Everybody reads it the way I'm gonna keep seeing it the way I see it. I
Okay.
understand. I understand what
right.
you're saying.
All right. With regards to the motion to suppress the search warrant, the motion is denied. And for the record, the court reviewed the search warrant in its entirety. In reviewing this search warrant for sufficiency, the court is not taking in consideration the paragraph where it states the following. Bexar County deputies who were at the location to assist detectives and went to the back door of the location to ensure the safety of detectives and deputies at the scene. While at the back of the property, deputies were able to see military artifacts that were described, as well as military cargo bags bearing the victim's last name. In parentheses is the word Kirkbride. The court is not considering that paragraph or the following paragraph in making a decision on whether or not the warrant is sufficient. So if that paragraph were removed, the court would still find that the warrant was sufficient and the affidavit is sufficient. The court will deny defense's motion to suppress the search warrant. Is there anything else before the jury is brought in?
And Judge, just so we address all the rest of it.
Yes.
Clearly, in the next couple of paragraphs, we talk about looking inside of vehicles. I'm taking it the court is just,
I'm not considering any in that. What the court is considering, considering paragraph 1 on page 1, paragraph 2, paragraph 3, and paragraph 4. Based upon those 4 paragraphs, the warrant is sufficient.
okay, so we're stuck, the next paragraph to the end, you're disregarding that. Because there's actually.
With regards to the last paragraph, it says the second vehicle, red in color, and it gives the VIN number, is parked at the location. In plain view, inside the vehicle is a plastic storage bin described by the victim as belonging to the victim. The bin is marked with military stuff and pantry. What I'm telling defense is, if this affidavit only had paragraph 1 from page 1, paragraph 2, paragraph 3, and paragraph 4, that is sufficient for this search warrant. So the defense's motion to suppress the warrant is denied. I'm going to have the jury brought in. And state, who is your next witness?
The complaining witness, Your Honor, Terry Kirkbride.
All right, if you have them take the witness stand, please. And to those who are waiting for your pleas, you need to talk to the deputies so that you can do your plea paperwork with your client. And then once we have a break in the jury trial, then your pleas will be taken up. Is there an issue?
Jurors are ready, Judge.
All right. Just bring them in.
Just bring them in.
Yes.
Right up here.
All right, for the jury. Oh my
Oh, please be seated. We stand for you. All right, everyone, please be seated. I hope you all were able to find parking. And some of the people who are here, it has absolutely nothing to do with this case. I always have a docket in the morning. So some of them are from this morning. All right, state, call your next witness.
State calls Terry Kirkbride, Your Honor.
Could you raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give would be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God? All right, you can lower your hand. Make sure you keep your voice up so that members of the jury can hear and the court reporter can hear. If you'll state your name for the record.
Terry Kirkbride.
Thank you, Greg. Mr. Kirkbride, can you tell the jury what you do for a living?
I am retired Air Force. I did 35 years Air Force. Was retired as a Chief Master Sergeant out at Travis Air Force Base.
Where is Travis Air Force Base?
It's in Northern California.
What's the town that you lived in when you were at Travis Air Force Base?
Vacaville.
And how long did you live in Vacaville?
From 1979 all the way up to 2000.
And 79 to 2000?
Yes,
Are you married?
I am.
What's your wife's name?
Rachel,
How long have y'all been married?
10 years now.
And what kind of jobs did you do within the Air Force?
Aircraft maintenance is my background, aircraft structural maintenance. And then through the years, I had promoted into flight chief, where I ran several different shops, and then later to superintendent, where I ran a squadron, supporting the maintenance on the C5s, KC-10s, C-17s, and the 141s before they retired.
And what are you and Rachel have been married for 10 years?
10 years now.
What type of things do y'all like to do?
In our retirement, Rachel took an early retirement shortly after I did. And so travel, we enjoy antiquing, collecting. I have had several collections, so that was kind of a passion of mine. Historical research was a big passion of mine, and also of Rachel. Her mostly for her Native American type history, that's her lineage. And for me, it was a lot of military history and other things. I think I collected probably too many different things.
Okay, could you tell the jury about some of your collections? What type of things do you collect?
I have military collection. My father was an avid collector, so I inherited a lot of his collection from World War II items, both from his time when he was in Okinawa during the Okinawan campaign during World War II, and also from Germany, the German collectibles that were from that same time era. That's just one of many. I collect arrowheads. I collect shifting knobs for race cars. I mean, going back to the 30s and 40s. I like vehicles. I've been a car collector. I was up to 13 vehicles before I moved from California, making my journey to Orlando. I got rid of all my collector cars, kind of leaned everything out. Had hood ornament collection. That was a real big thing. I'm talking a lot of high-end hood ornaments that go all the way back to Lincoln Zephyrs, all the way up to the 40s and 50s aircraft style looking hood ornaments. Just a whole grab bag full of various collections. I even had a vintage ashtray collection that I don't even smoke, that went back to the 30s, 40s, that type of thing.
So did y'all live in an apartment there in Vacaville?
No, I lived in a home. I was on a 5-acre property
Okay.
with a shop that I had built, that type of thing.
5 acres, so pretty big size house there.
Yeah, it was, I think it was 2,300 square foot home with a 3-car garage and a shop that I had built.
And what were you just gearing up for a move in 2019, 2020?
Yeah, my son moved first and his wife to Orlando. He worked for the VA, and then a few years later, 2 years later, my daughter's husband took a job in Orlando. So we found ourselves with our kids gone. They were in Florida, and our grandkids. We have 5 grandkids now, but at the time it was 3. And we just decided one day maybe we need to move to Florida. And so we just kind of put that thought in our head, and literally within 3 months had our house sold and everything. We didn't want to bring with us furniture items, a lot of collector things that I figured it was time to let go of. We just sold everything, got rid of everything, and I kind of got it all down to we rented a Penske truck. I think it was a 24-foot truck. I had to check, maybe 28. It was a big truck. And that had a lot of garage and garage items, tools, those type of things, bicycles, all that kind of stuff went in it. I also had a 1937 Ford truck. I call it a rat rod because I built it myself. And the engine for that, I just had rebuilt. I had that on a pallet in the back of my F-350 truck. So basically my F-350 truck, a 24-foot enclosed trailer that we had just purchased for this move, and 3 months of very meticulously packing everything so that it would all fit in the trailer, all of our collectibles, all of our memorabilia, all my military accolades for the many years that I served, a little bit of everything, all of our historical stuff, photographs, videos, everything was in there, our collections from floor to ceiling, side to side. And then we made our journey.
And so I just want to go back to your family a little bit. So you have 5 grandkids. How many kids do you have?
4.
4 kids, okay. And 2 of them are in Orlando, or?
We have 3 of them in Orlando. Our one son, he had got out of the Army and really didn't want to stay in California. So he asked if he could move with us. So he was accompanying us on the move and coming to Florida with us.
Okay, so it's you and Rachel and what's your son's name? that was-
Thomas.
Thomas is helping you move?
Yeah,
And so you talked a little bit about the preparations, so that took about 3 months?
yeah. From the time we sold our home or listed our home, to the time we actually left, it was about a 3 month period. It was every day just packing and getting rid of stuff and getting prepared for the move.
Did you do a one of those life-changing tidying up type things, or the Marie Kondo thing? Does this spark joy? Was that part of it, or?
Oh, yeah, we were so excited about this. I mean, you're talking about how we felt about when, yeah, we were so excited about making a big move like this. I didn't never think I would leave California. I had a real nice property but I wanted to be around family. We wanted to be around our grandkids and family. So we did what we needed to do. I did do a big purge, got rid of a lot of things. I figured we could always purchase new furniture if and when we ever found our home at the time. We had it already set up to stay in a like a condo apartment in Orlando while we were figuring out what our next move was after we got there.
And you told the jury a little bit about the vehicles that you had, but you had the big Penske truck, right? And then you had an F-350, is that right?
Yeah, I had an F-350 dually Ford truck, and that was pulling the 24-foot enclosed car hauler trailer that we had just purchased. And then the Penske truck was just a rental truck, a big truck, and behind it was a trailer that was towing my 37 Ford truck on it.
Okay. And who's driving what vehicles?
Myself and Rachel, we switched up actually. We did have a friend of ours that asked if they could help us with the move. So Joe and Sherry, good friends of mine from the military, they drove my truck and they also drove the Penske truck. We just kind of changed up along the way as far as San Antonio.
Okay. And so can you describe to the jury your route? You left Vacaville and you're headed to Florida, is that right?
Yeah. Yeah, we basically had some stops kind of planned along the way. When we made it as far as San Antonio, we thought we might be going further through San Antonio, but we decided that we were pretty tired from the drive and had made reservations on the road for the hotel we stayed at. And then, yes, but we had stops along the way, hotels.
So y'all decided to spend the night in San Antonio. Do you remember the hotel y'all stayed at?
Yes, it was a Home to Suites in San Antonio off I don't remember the name of the freeway loop, but it was off, they called it the loop.
And did y'all pick that for any particular reason?
Well, yes, the criteria was to make sure that we had a location that we think we could park 2 trucks with trailers behind them and park them in where we could actually see them from our window, from our room, and also well lit. We wanted a well lit place so that we could keep them safe. That's kind of what we were doing all along the way. And
Okay, and was that on December 4th of 2020?
yes, it was.
Okay. And so you checked into the hotel and what did you do next after that, after you checked in?
Well, we finally got situated in our rooms, Joe and Sherry in their room, me, Rachel and Thomas in our room, and got some sleep. And come morning, I was in the shower and our son Thomas said, "Hey, Pops, did Joe and Sherry move the truck?" And I'm like, "What?" So I went to the window, looked down. Of course, the truck and trailer's gone. And everything just kind of spun from there. And of course, I got a hold of Joe and Sherry, and they didn't move the truck. And we were spinning for a while, trying to figure out what do we do here, you know? But yeah.
And before that morning, you were looking for a place that was well lit. Why were you looking for a well lit place?
Oh, to avoid theft, to avoid temptation of theft. We actually didn't park in a parking space. We took up several spaces, and they told us it was fine to do that. There wasn't a whole lot of people. It was still during kind of the height of COVID when we were making the move, so it wasn't a whole lot of folks at that hotel. But we were right out front of the lobby entry kind of, if you were walking out the lobby entry slightly to the left was the parking lot. That's where we had the two vehicles parked side by side, crossways in the parking spots.
And so were you keeping an eye on the truck overnight, or was your son keeping an eye on the truck overnight?
Yeah, we, right up to the time we went to bed, we were looking out the window kind of obsessively, just making sure everything was okay. There was nobody around it. I know Rachel stayed up a little later than me. She the worrier. She worried about something maybe happening, but yeah, we finally got sleep and then got up early because we were going to do an early start. So I think it might have been around 5 a.m. in the morning. I was getting myself ready for the day when I found out that we didn't have the vehicle anymore.
And so what'd you do next? Thomas says, hey, did somebody move the truck? What happened next?
Oh, we rushed downstairs, ran out of the building looking around, talked to the clerk, asked if they had seen anything. Finally got a hold of the police. They came out. It was just a real kind of surreal setting for us. I mean, the items that we had in that trailer were literally our lives. Literally a representation of our lives, I should say. Everything that I had from my military career, all my collectibles, all of our family heirlooms, pictures, all my financials records were in there, my VA records, my medical records. My last deployment when I was in Afghanistan, I was there for OEF 10 and 11.
Oh, I'm sorry, what was that?
Enduring Freedom. It was Afghanistan. I was there for 10 and 11 for a year. And while there, I had some things that had happened that caused them to ultimately medically retire me out, bomb blast exposure, TBI, that type of thing. So I had all of my VA records, all of my medical records, everything was in the vehicles were stolen, along with our photographs, videos, and everything that you might have that was of importance.
Sir, I'm sorry, you're trailing off. If I can get you to speak up.
Okay. It was just basically all of our paperwork, things that were intangible, as far as putting a value on because it was priceless. Photographs, videos, all of our family history, my VA records, my medical records, our financial records.
And so what happened next?
Well, got a hold of a friend of mine that was a retired colonel there that lived in the area here in this area of San Antonio. He came out. Me and him actually started driving around all over the place, seeing if we could see maybe the vehicle or the trailer. We didn't find anything. We didn't really know if we should continue to Florida in the Penske truck. We didn't know if we should just stay in the area. We were really in a kind of a confused state, I guess, for a little bit. Our friends, Joe and Sherry, they flew back home. They made arrangements. No sense in them going anymore. We don't have the vehicle. The police, when they had come out, they had taken kind of the initial report on it. And so we ended up going out to Randolph Air Force Base and got a room there, figured it'd be safer for a few nights, until we finally decided that there really wasn't much more we could do here in San Antonio. So myself, Rachel, Thomas, and our two cats crammed in the Penske truck, and we continued the journey to Florida.
And they recovered your trailer, right? The police did?
Yes, theft occurred early morning, late night, probably 11 o'clock or so at night. I think it was about 3 in the morning before we finally had the trailer in our possession. Was found some miles away from the home to suites, parked in a neighborhood, and it was emptied. So we met Joe, our friend Joe, took us out there, and we met with there was 2 officers that were there, and made arrangements to have it towed over to my friend Joe's house, the trailer, so we could figure out what we were going to do next.
So the trailer was towed to your buddy's house in this area of town?
Yes, sir. Initially, it was towed to his house, and then later we moved it, while I was still here, moved it over to his daughter's house, who had a little bit of property. to keep it stored.
And so how many days after the theft did you all keep driving to Florida?
That was day 3 that we left.
And what was your next interaction with the police?
It was frustrating at first because we weren't getting a lot of information. The forms that we were given was basically list all of your items or your theft, which was almost an incredible task in itself because of the volume, thousands and thousands of items in various collections. So we just did a general statement of what we had. Everything was filed as a police report. They gave us the report number. That was kind of the end of it while we were here. It wasn't, and being very honest, it wasn't until days, weeks later that we started making a lot of inquiries with San Antonio Police Department, trying to figure out, what's going on with our case, is anything happening, have they found anything? And I didn't get the feeling that, and I think it's kind of common transient type thefts, where people don't live here, so therefore nothing ever comes of it. But I was pretty persistent. I actually wrote a letter to the mayor, to city planner, anybody that would listen, kind of a generic letter, who I was, what it was about, what had happened to us. Even got media involved in it, your local news media. So all this, from the time of the theft to the time that things started really moving, was about 28 days had elapsed. And then the fingerprint was processed. And things started moving from there when they found the property where remnants of our stuff was stored or left.
And so were you in communication with police when they found some of your property?
I was. Initially, it was a detective, Reed, and then later it became Detective Hodge. Detective Hodge became the lead investigator. I had actually got a call, like, after I sent that letter, it was like literally the next day I got a phone call from Chief of Police. Chief of Police told me they were going to put a detective on it. It was Reed initially, then it was Detective Hodge, who's now since retired, since this case has been going for a while. And he kind of kept in communication with me of what was going on, as far as they had found remnants of our stuff. And
so did you wind up recovering some of your property?
yes, the detective, I guess when they went there to go through everything, I had actually received a few photographs to say, is this your stuff, basically? And of course it was. A lot of it had my name on it. I had some bags that had my military clothing, that type of thing, that had my name on it. So he took some other officers. I coordinated with my friend Joe Bentley where the trailer was kept at his daughter's house. They brought the trailer over to the site and they tried recovering items. But most of the stuff that we recovered was incomplete, partial, broken. A lot of it was just left out in the weather. It looks as if every tub, we had plastic tubs, we had boxes. It was just kind of ransacked through in the yard and took all the good stuff and left kind of the other stuff out there. And a lot of that other stuff was photographs, things like that, paperwork, just left out in the rain, just left to be destroyed. So we didn't really recover much. We did get some of our stuff back, but all, in my opinion, all of the things that were of value or sentimental value or personal value, really, it was none of that.
And may I approach the witness here?
Yes.
I'm going to show you some photos. I'm going to show you what I'm marking now as States Exhibit 3 and 4. Can you tell the jury what States Exhibit 3 and 4 are?
It's a camper shell. That's the camper shell that I had on the back of my F-350 truck. It's an 8-foot bed. Mine was an 8-foot bed. It's an ARE model. That's what it was. The glass back that lifts up, which never really stayed locked. I was always having to mess with it to get it to lock. But yeah, that's our camper shell. It was
That's-
on the back of my truck.
That's your camper shell?
Yep.
Okay. And is this a fair and accurate, are these fair and accurate photographs of your camper shell?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, they are. Yes, they are.
Your Honor, I offer, States Exhibit 3 and 4.
No objection, Judge.
Right, States Exhibit 3 and 4 is admitted without objection.
Can I publish these, Your Honor?
Yes.
All right, so that's, your camper shell?
Yes, it is.
Okay. And I want to show you what I'm marking right now is States Exhibit 5, 6, 7, and 8. Can you tell the jury what these are?
Yeah, this is the owner manual that was in my F-350 Ford truck. And this, with the code number on it, was our keypad number to enter. If you, for whatever reason, got locked out of your vehicle, you could enter this keypad and open it remotely, and that was with the owner's manual in the glove box.
Sure. And is this are these fair and accurate depictions of your truck's owner's manual?
Yes.
Okay. Your Honor, I offer States Exhibit 5, 6, 7, and 8.
Judge, if I can take a moment.
Yes.
Mr. Kirkbride, where was that recovered? If you know,
I don't know the address, sir.
I mean, was that at that property? Was it in a box? Did the police give it to you separately?
Oh, the way I recovered it is it was put upside down in the trailer with the other recovered stuff that they tried to attempt to get for me, so that I actually got that camper shell back. And it ended up coming back to Florida with me when I picked up when I had my trailer shipped.
Because your friends and the police went and recouped some items when you were still physically in Florida.
That is correct.
So you don't have personal knowledge of where this was recovered from.
Correct.
You just know that it was in the trailer when you got back to San Antonio to look at what they recovered.
Yes, sir. And ultimately back to Orlando.
And so was it separated from all the other items, or was it just in the trailer in one of the boxes?
No, the camper shell
I'm
was,
sorry, excuse me, just one moment. Which exhibit is this?
Judge, 5, 6, 7, and 8 are all various depictions of the item he described.
All right, so the exhibit that's on the screen now.
That's actually, that's not the one we're talking
All right, so if you all could take that off the screen since they're talking about a different exhibit. All right, and you may continue with your voir dire. Sorry. No, until he finishes with his voir dire.
So I'm gonna repeat the last question, if you don't mind. So when you get back to San Antonio and they let you into the trailer to see what's in there, do you recall where this was located?
yes, sir. It was upside down and forward in the trailer, all the way forward. It has a ramp that drops down in the back. So if you were to come in from the back and go all the way forward, it was on the floor of the trailer upside down, and then other stuff thrown on top of it, boxes and stuff.
Judge, we would object to him not having personal knowledge of where this was located. it's misleading to give the impression it was at my client's property when that hasn't been established.
State,
Your Honor, he has personal knowledge that, this was one of his items that was recovered.
all right, let me see, states exhibits 5, 6, 7, and 8, is that correct?
Yes, Judge, and if they're only offering to say that it's his, we don't have objection to that. We just don't want there to be misleading that he's suggesting who knows where it came.
All right, state. You're calling the witness to testify that this is his property?
That's it, that.
All right, then, states exhibits 5, 6, 7, and 8 are admitted.
Mr. Kirkbride, I'm gonna show you I'm gonna mark as, States Exhibit 9. Can you tell me what this is?
Yes, this is one of 2 wooden cats that belonged to my wife that she had for many years before I met her.
Okay. And is this a fair and accurate depiction of that wooden cat?
Yes.
Okay, and
they're
can you,
not- yeah.
can you tell me what States Exhibit 10 is?
That's one of Rachel's rings.
Can you tell me what States Exhibit 11 is?
These are 2 Native American chief salt pepper shakers, part of a pretty mass collection of different salt and pepper shakers from that time period.
And can you tell me what States Exhibit 12 is?
And that's Rachel's Montana purse, one of her Montana purse. She had quite a few purses.
Is that a brand?
Montana is a concealed carry purse, so it has a place on it to where you can conceal carry.
Okay.
It is a brand.
Can you tell me what States Exhibit 13 is?
I recognize all of these knives. The buck knife was my father's, and these 2 knives here I had.
Okay, and are these fair and accurate depictions of your property?
Yes, sir.
Your Honor, I offer States Exhibit 9 through 13.
Once again, Judge, if I may.
Yes.
So, Mr. McBride, again, you recognize them as your property. You don't necessarily know where it was recovered. Is that correct?
I only know from what the officers told me when they said they were covering my stuff from the property and putting it in the trailer for me. So I wasn't physically there.
And the way that it's displayed, you also do not have personal knowledge. That's how they found it. They may have just posted it there for the picture.
That is correct.
Judge, we don't have objection to it being admitted as his testimony reflects that it's his property. As long as the state's not offering it to suggest it was located at a particular place.
All right, states exhibit number 9 and 13 are admitted.
9 through 13.
Yes, I'm sorry, 9 through 13.
Can I display these, Judge?
Yes.
I'm gonna, for the purposes of the record, I'm gonna display number 9, and then I'm gonna pass States Exhibit 10 through 13. Can you tell us what States Exhibit 14 is?
Judge, I'm gonna have to object to, it's not the proper foundation question. I think he needs to ask me if he recognizes it, not to just blurt out what it is.
All right. You can
I
ask your,
state what it is.
sorry, no, just 1 second. State if you ask your question, please.
What's depicted in this photo here?
In this photo is one of 2 Coleman mini bikes that were new that I had purchased. It has a elk horn. That was a shed that I found when I was elk hunting. There is also some sheepskins, I guess you'd call them. We had a few of those with us. I see one of Rachel's purses on there. The Everlast, I don't know anything about that.
Okay.
And the Mr. Coffee that it's sitting on, I don't know about that.
Okay. And can you tell me what this is a photo of?
Yes, it's a ashtray from Las Vegas. And one of Rachel's cookwares, I recognize it, and it looks like it's sitting on a sheepskin too.
Okay, and can you tell me what this is in States Exhibit 16?
It's just part of a bunch of camera equipment. It's tripods. There's 3 of them in there. I really don't recognize the other stuff around it, like the chair, the folding chair. But I do recognize the tripods.
Can you tell me what's in this photo I've just marked as State's Exhibit 17?
There's boxes full of items that I can't see inside of. I also see one of my amplifiers. That metal sculpture you see there, I made that in 1977 when I was in high school. It's just a welded airplane with a spark plug head guy flying it. It looks like on top of the boxes is one of my motorcycle toys that I collected.
Do you recognize the boxes?
I do. We spent a lot of money at Home Depot buying boxes, so I recognize them as the same type of boxes that we had at Home Depot.
Can you tell me what's in what I've just marked as State's Exhibit 18?
There's a lot of items here. I see the bongo drums, those were mine. I see one of my dad's kendo fighting gear, which is a samurai part of gear that's used for doing practice combat. And I also see one of Rachel's, I don't remember the name brand of them, but they were from the 1950s. She had about 8 of them that she collected. They're picnic baskets from the 50s. They're really in good shape. And our plan was to get them and have them outfitted with picnic stuff and make them as gifts for family members.
Can you tell me what's in State's Exhibit 19?
My sombrero, which I did get that back.
And can you tell me what's in State's Exhibit 20?
I see some of my Marilyn Monroe collection, a Marilyn Monroe doll sitting on the counter, a couple of smaller ones down below. This feather print was something that I got Rachel. It had a little saint on it. And this I brought back from Kyrgyzstan. It's basically a Santa Claus with a Disney theme, and pull one out of the other until you get down to a small one.
Can you tell me what's in the photograph I've just marked as State's Exhibit 21?
It's one of Rachel's Native American blankets.
Can you tell me what's depicted in State's Exhibit 22?
Again, I see Home Depot boxes, but I do see a couple more also Native American chiefs that are on it, and Indian paw that were part of a salt and pepper collection. Shakers.
Can you tell me what's depicted in State's Exhibit 23?
Military clothing bags. I can see partial my name on here. I had a lot of my military clothing, the camouflage clothing that I kept, and I had bags of it. This little teddy bear here, I can tell by the camo hat, was like a bear that I got Rachel from after a deployment. It was just a bear that it used to have a shirt on it. They had stripes that I had.
Can you tell me what's depicted in State's Exhibit 24?
I could see a box that's open, and I'm the one that wrote that on there. It says cool shit, and it just had a lot of cool stuff in it. And these boxes look like the boxes that we had. And this wooden box was one of the crates that Rachel had that she used to use for displaying.
Can you tell me what's in State's Exhibit 25?
Yeah. I see the Ford booklet that was the owner's manual that was in the truck. And I also see a World War II parachute. The parachute's missing, but it's the bag with all the markings on it from that time period. And yeah.
Your Honor, I offer State's Exhibit 14 through 25.
May I inquire, Your Honor?
Yes.
Ms. McBride, I noticed that you identified some things, but it seemed like maybe there were some things in some of the pictures that you didn't recognize. Is that fair?
That is fair.
Did you notice that when you went through the trailer that there actually were items in there that didn't belong?
A trailer hitch was in the trailer, was in the trailer that was not mine. Trying to remember all the stuff. We threw away so much of it because it was incomplete or broken or damaged. The trailer hitch comes to mind, and it was like a large trailer hitch with a with the hitch ball on it and everything. And I still have that.
Without going through every single picture, if you did that, you'd see the things that you recognize, maybe some things that you don't.
I'd say that'd be fair, but it was nothing of any value. It was just, I think that there was like a windbreaker that wasn't ours. But everything else seemed to be remnants of our belongings. And a lot of leaves.
Because you weren't here in order to be able to tell anybody in charge what belonged to you, what didn't.
Not the case. I was in contact with Detective Hodge on the scene, and he was saying, do these items look like your items? And of course, I was telling him what was ours. And so I think he did a pretty good job of rounding up what was left in some of those boxes that were strewed around the yard, and a few items that were inside the house that we were able to identify. One of them being like a 1920s framed, very, very old frame, but a beautiful condition of The Last Supper. It was in our family for lots of years, and that was on their wall in their house. So that got taken along with the Marilyn Monroe statues and all that stuff. And,
No further questions, Judge, and they're being offered for purpose with his qualification for the purposes of him identifying what actually belonged to him. We don't have that objection to that.
All right, States Exhibit 14 through 25 is admitted.
Thank you, Judge. Can I publish these?
Yes.
Okay, and in the interest of time, I'm gonna put States Exhibit 17, 25, and 23 on the overhead. I'm just gonna pass the other ones, Judge. So this is States Exhibit 17. Can you describe, is your statue in here?
well, what you see there's a metal sculpture.
All right, if you wish to step down to the well, you may.
Is that to see it
Yes,
better? I
just,
can see it on
no,
this.
it's for the jury to see.
So did you make this?
I did.
You guys need to speak up so I can hear y'all.
Yes, I made that. It's a metal sculpture of a World War II airplane, or a World War I airplane, like a double wing airplane. It had a little spark.
Oh, sorry, sir. So here's the thing. That's okay. I understand. You'll need to keep your voice up and speak at an even pace because the court reporter has to take down everything that's being said. All right, thank you. You may repeat that, sir.
And so that is a metal sculpture that I made in 1977. I even wrote that on the bottom of it. And it is a World War I double wing airplane, like a radial engine made out of bolts. And that's a spark plug for the head. Above that, on those boxes, is a police motorcycle for G.I. Joe. I collected a lot of motorcycle toys from all the way from the tin wind-ups all the way to the G.I. Joe type stuff. That speaker is just, I had a couple of those actually. They're just amplifiers for guitar.
And then in States Exhibit 25, is that your the handbook for your vehicle?
Yes, it is.
And then in States Exhibit 23, can you tell the jury about these bags? What are these bags for?
They're military deployment bags that I had stuffed full of uniforms from my military career from different time periods. I had the greens in there, like the desert ones in there. And I just kept them. So I had a lot of military uniforms in them.
Okay, thank you. So can you check the witness again? Okay, do you recognize what I'm marking now as States Exhibit 26?
Yes. Shall I just talk about what I'm seeing here?
Yeah, what do you recognize in the photograph?
Okay, in the box, there's a lot of various things, but what stands out is my my awards and decorations for my military career, they were all kind of pulled apart, and the silk lining were ripped out of them. A Bronze Star medal, I see an achievement medal. The medal was out of the container. It was found in the boxes. A little magic trick thing there with the cups and the balls. I'd see 1, 2, 3 metal boxes that had my military medals in it. And then the other box, an American flag, a box that was for 45 records, which was like in mint condition. It was just a box that somebody would take their little 45 records from one place to another so they could play them. And I see one of my Chief Master Sergeant stripes in there. And on the far right side is a washboard that belonged to Rachel. An old school washboard that kind of used to do laundry with back in the day.
Do you recognize any of the objects in State's Exhibit 27?
Yes, I do. I see a saw in the middle, as part of it that was given to me by my grandson. I see that zebra blanket, which was kind of a joke in the family, but I have it. That World War II box set of the entire World War DVDs, and I see a little cigar box that I kept trinkets in, and the rest is very difficult to see specifically what's in there.
Do you recognize any of the objects in this State's Exhibit 28?
I do. I see those red, white, and blue photo books. I had a stack of those. And I see what looks like one of Rachel's Native American books on the bottom. I see a corner of it. That's it on that.
Do you recognize any of the objects in State's Exhibit 29?
Yeah, this is just a picture of Marilyn Monroe, a black and white photo of her framed.
Do you recognize any of the objects in State's Exhibit 30?
I do. These, again, I had a lot of vintage toys. I had some Star Wars toys, and that guy you see there laying on his side is called Captain Laser. That's from 1964. I had 3 of those.
Do you recognize any objects in State's Exhibit 31?
I see a military strap, but I don't know. And I see one of my cards that I would carry from being a superintendent. Had my rank on it and my squadron logo. I can see that on the ground. The rest of the stuff in that box, I really can't make heads or tails of.
Okay. Do you recognize anything in State's Exhibit 32?
I do. The wooden piece is upside down, but it's representing it. It was made out of wood for me for one of my retirement gifts. It was a T-tail on an aircraft, the tail assembly. They called them a T-tail if it looked like a T. And they had made it for me, and it had the retirement plaque. And I see a little boxer statue that my sister gave me.
Do you recognize any of the items in State's Exhibit 33?
Yeah, I do. Again, I see some of my retirement plaques. One of a C-17 from the C-17 squadron. They gave that to me before or when I retired. The box that you see that's shaped like a flag box was given to me by the squadron that I was in when I was in Afghanistan. And it had my name and my rank and the deployment dates inlaid into it with like a brass. And I can see that little boxer guy down here again. It was given to me by my sister. It was a vintage statue.
Do you recognize any of the objects in State's Exhibit 34?
I do. In the center, that tray that you see is from the 1950s. It was a chow hall tray that was given to me. It had the US on the bottom of it. I just used it as a trinket tray. I used to keep it alongside my bed. These are just the tops of like conductors from old telephone poles. I had a whole box of those. They're glass. You see them occasionally. They come up for sale. They're not super expensive, but I had a bunch of them.
Do you recognize any of the objects in State's Exhibit 35?
I see my Coleman mini bike. Again, I had 2 of those. The helmet you see there was graphic with Monster on it. It was one of the motorcycle racers of that day signed it. I had that. There's that elk shed horn. It's there. And I see one of have the two of the sheepskin covers. The rest of the stuff not mine.
Your Honor, I offer States Exhibit 26 through 35.
No objection,
All right, states exhibits 26 through 35 are admitted.
That permission to publish, Your Honor?
Yes.
On States Exhibit 32, can you tell the jury, what was this?
Back down there again, ma'am.
Oh, if you wish to, or either you
I
can
can-
address
I can-
from the.
That was made by one of my squadrons. It's upside down, but it's a plaque. It looks like the tail of an aircraft with all the markings on it. And that black box that you see there had some really nice words on it that were basically saying, thank you for your service. And in the top, I see part of, it was like a decanter holder. It was a boxer, like made out of porcelain.
So the plaque had your name on it.
It does have my name on it.
And then on States Exhibit 26, you were describing the condition of one of these metal boxes to me. What was the condition when you put it in, when you packed it up, and what was the condition when you got it back?
Okay, I was awarded the Bronze Star Medal by the Army while I was in Afghanistan. That one in the top, and I only know because I got it back, and it had the silk, this real silk lining ripped out of it, and the metal was found in another box, the actual metal. And I see some of the other metal boxes that are in there, and what stands out is that box in the upper left corner is just one of those magic cup tricks that I had picked up. Probably was going to give it to one of my grandsons. And then I see a washboard on the right side. It's just what they used to wash clothes with. Rachel had that in her laundry room. And in the upper left corner was that 45 record box that I was talking about that held 45 records. And I see one of my Chief Master Sergeant stripes next to that American flag.
Do you recognize anything in States Exhibit 37?
Yeah, I do. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff in here. The tubs and boxes look like my tubs and boxes. They're tossed pretty well. I see a milk jug. We had some antique milk jugs. It looks like it's mixed in with some things that I don't recognize.
Okay.
But yeah, they appears to be remnants of our items in the containers that they were in.
Do you recognize any of the objects in States Exhibit 38?
Yes, I do. I collected some Time Life magazines from wartime. These are some of them. In that lower left, well, they don't see it yet. In that lower left corner is a box. I had a Jack Russell dog. I had him for 20 years. He was literally that long before he passed away. So I had his paws printed, and I had his ashes. Meant a lot to me, that dog. So that's what that is.
Do you recognize anything in States Exhibit 39?
Yes, I do. That is a bell with a motorcycle on it. It's a vintage motorcycle that was affixed to a bell that you ring. I see some drumsticks. I had a couple. I had one from Led Zeppelin Bonham drumstick. I had one from Aerosmith. Those are the two that you can see there. And everything else looks upside down or tossed, so I don't know what it is.
Do you recognize anything in States Exhibit 40?
The only thing I see is I have a rock tumbler, and that's one of the boxes that holds the various grits that you use to tumble rocks. That's one of those kits. It's National Geographic right on it. But
Do you recognize any of the items in States Exhibit 41?
what stands out in this is in the lower right corner, there is one of garage signs that I have. It had I could tell by the rivet pattern that it was basically a bomb with a lady riding the bomb and it said bombs away. And then I see one of my framed Marilyn Monroe Life magazines that I had in a frame. I had a lot of framed ones, different subject matter.
Do you recognize any of the objects in State's Exhibit 42?
See two things. There's a little tractor that's in there, a farm all tractor. It's a toy. It's old from the 50s. And I see part of it's a skull basically that's inlaid with beadwork, whole thing's done in beads. So you can see part of that. The rest of the stuff I can't tell. It looks like the bubble wrap we used, so something's wrapped in it. I don't remember what that might have been.
Do you recognize what's in anything in State's Exhibit 43?
Yeah, I do. It's just one of my medals that ISAF medal that I got when I was in Afghanistan. And this little wooden one here was a placard that had a piece of plexiglass on it that had 3 coins that were given to me as part of a project that we did in the military, and it was like a commemorative plaque.
Do you recognize anything in State's Exhibit 44?
Driver's license, which I look like that still.
Do you recognize anything in State's Exhibit 45?
I do. I see my humidor, skateboard, the guitar, a dream catcher. There's some Native American stuff that's in that Native American bag, some more baskets. Again, a lot of Rachel's collection. And some nunchucks that I had. And I see 3 of those samurai swords that we talked about. They're not samurai swords, they're kendo fighting gear swords that they used for practicing.
Your Honor, I offers State's Exhibits 36 through 45. 37 through 45, Judge.
I'm sorry, is it 36 or 37?
37, Judge.
A couple of questions, Judge.
Yes.
So, Mr. Kirkbride, I'm sure we're all following, just to be clear for the record. If we went through each one of these photographs in detail, you probably see some things that you described, and also some things that you're not sure what they are.
That's correct. In some of those boxes, things were turned upside down, so I couldn't make out what picture or plaque that might have been, but the ones I stated were ones that I'm sure were mine.
So to summarize, you recognize a lot of things in all of the photographs, not necessarily everything.
That is correct.
All right, then State's Exhibit 37 through 45 is admitted.
Can I publish, Your Honor?
Yes.
So this is State's Exhibit 44. Is that your driver's license?
Yes, it is.
This is State's Exhibit 43. Can you identify what that is?
It's an ISAF medal.
Can you tell the jury what that is?
A coalition forces medal for my deployment in Afghanistan in 10 and 11.
This is State's Exhibit 37.
Just stuff strewed all over the place. Some stuff pulled out, some stuff not. So mostly trash is what I'm looking at here. Some containers. I did pick out that one milk bottle.
Do you recognize anything in State's Exhibit 46?
The box belonged to Rachel, and it's a lot of her beads, her Native American beads. She did beadwork too, so that's what I'm seeing here. But I recognize that box and the beads that are in it.
Okay. Do you recognize anything in State's Exhibit 47?
It's a Christmas box of Christmas ornaments, and I definitely recognize the rifle case is what it is, like a little miniature hunting rifle ornament. And it looks like one of the backs of the teddy bears that we had on our tree. The rest of the stuff's wrapped up.
Do you recognize anything in State's Exhibit 48?
Yes, this is one of a few baking pans that Rachel had that she picked up, granite ware baking pans. They were still brand new, they hadn't even been used.
Okay. Let's show you State's Exhibit 49 and 50. Do you recognize anything in those?
Yeah, these are some of the framed life magazines of Marilyn Monroe subject in there. And I see Rachel's jacket, the 1950s vintage jacket. I see her, what appears to be her tortilla press, and see one of the sheepskins. And off to the far right, I see what looks like the tripods from our cameras. And that bake pan that's still in the box. And this one is also the same as that. It's just a blow up of the Marilyn Monroe.
Okay. Do you recognize anything in State's Exhibit 51?
Kind of a variation. What we just seen is her tortilla press, part of the Life magazine, Marilyn Monroe. The wrapped baking pan and one of the sheepskin covers.
Do you recognize anything in State's Exhibit 52?
Yeah, what I'm looking at here is that at the bottom is part of that metal sculpture we were talking about of the airplane, and the GI Joe Harley Davidson police motorcycle still in the box, and above that is a Barbie Harley Davidson in the box.
Do you recognize any objects in State's Exhibit 53?
I do. There's some photo books. I recognize the blue one, and like again, we ended up getting these back, so it was just framed photos and some photo books. Definitely not all of them, but there was some of them in there. The rest just looks like tossed garbage. I do see this metal object that you see in the upper left corner was just a display case. It had like, I think it had 4 tiers with glass shells on it, circular. That's what that is.
Do you recognize any objects in State's Exhibit 54?
Yeah, the vintage bongo drums, one of the kendo fighting sticks, the amplifier, and I see the base of that airplane.
Do you recognize anything in State's Exhibit 55?
It's a variation of that picture we just seen, so it looks like it's been stacked with like things that were not our boxes, but I see the kendo fighting stick, I see the drums, I see the amplifier. This portable turntable was brand new, still in the box. It was just a record player that had Bluetooth capability. And the box that said Tom on it, that was the things that were given to Thomas, our son, from his father, his biological father. When he passed, he had put together some boxes of things for him. That's what that was. And I see the top of a bar stool that had a chief with its chief's bonnet on it. It was all done in turquoise and just a bar stool. It was really cool.
Your Honor, I offered State's Exhibits 46 through 55.
Mr. Kirkbride, you weren't present when any of these pictures were taken, correct?
No, sir, it was not.
And you're not even sure where they were taken at.
That's correct, sir. Other than what was told to me by the officer.
So your testimony basically is you recognize the items depicted, even though the circumstances under which the pictures were taken, you don't have personal knowledge of.
Not firsthand knowledge, but personal knowledge that the detective was feeding to me real time as he was finding them. So
That's all I have to answer.
All right, then States Exhibit 46 and 55 will be admitted. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to give you a break at this point so that I can take up some other matters unrelated to this case. And I will have you all lined up. I'm estimating probably 3:20. All right. So remember my instructions. You're not allowed to start deliberating internally with yourself or with each other. You're not allowed to talk to anyone about what you've heard about this case. You're not allowed to start doing your investigation. Everything that you need to know about this case comes from, yes, inside the courtroom. All right, everyone, please stand for the jurors. Okay, I'll clear it up. Thank you. All right, sir, the rule has been invoked. What that means, you're not allowed to discuss your testimony with anyone. You're not allowed to talk to anyone about your testimony. You're only allowed to talk to attorneys for the state of the defense. Do you understand? Yes, ma'am. All right, you may step down and we will be back at 3:20. And then the court reporter has informed me that I just said 46 and 55 instead of 46 through 55. So I'll correct that on the record once the jury is back. All right, if y'all want to take your break, now's the time to do so.
Who do you need?
What's your client's name?
Jonathan.
All right, and then your client? All right.
Are you doing the plea or is Jason coming down?
No, I'll do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you have him do this song?
Yeah.
Sean Smith.
Sure.
You're just gonna have just Sean Smith.
Oh, I passed it to you. Yes, I should have.
That's not what you're gonna do.
You should get it.
Okay. All right, they're gonna bring him out, the council. On Sean Smith?
Sean Smith.
The medication?
And I don't think it's gonna be really big deal.
Yes, done.
Okay, so.
Thanks.
Two of the cases. It's gonna be a repeater. One case, you're gonna, get a regular. Repeater on both of them. It's 15 years to do, like CC. And TIC, they're just missing the JNs, okay. But on the two cases, it's just a little confusing. On one case, he's got TIC like JNX, and on the other case, he's TIC JN and Z and Y. I don't know if it's a difference. I don't know why we did it that way. So in other words, there's three
Here, let me
JNs.
see the,
They got the paperwork.
Sorry.
Can I see the Sean Smith paperwork, Judge?
They have it.
Thank you.
Just so you know. And it's not.
Oh. Oh, no, that's fine.
So, yeah. And on the other one, it's like.
All right, as soon as Dinah is back, I'll take everybody up.
I got it.
We're trying to.
I got it. I got it.
Obvious.
The red flags. I got it. And then,
All right, who's here on Jacqueline Sanchez?
Karen told me you're ready.
Jacqueline Sanchez, if you'll come down, please. Counsel, we're going on the record on something else. All right, court is calling 2021 CR 7498, State of Texas versus Jacqueline C. Sanchez. Can I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Daniel Escobar for the state of Texas.
Defense,
Karen Corby for Jacqueline Sanchez, defendant, Your Honor.
are you Ms. Sanchez?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm going to show you what's entitled Motion to Enter Adjudication of Guilt and Revoke Community Supervision. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it?
yes,
Are you the same Jacqueline C. Sanchez who was placed on deferred adjudication in 2021 CR 7498 for the offense of possession of a controlled substance, penalty group 1, 4 grams to 200 grams on December 10th, 2021 for a period of 3 years? Is that you?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, state.
Violated condition number 2, on or about the 12th day of February 2024 in Bexar County, Texas, the defendant, Jacqueline C. Sanchez, did then and there fail to submit to drug testing as directed by the court officer, supervision officer, and or duly authorized agent of the court in violation of condition number 2.
How do you plead to that? True or not true?
True, ma'am.
Your Honor, state waives all the violations.
Any objection?
No, Your Honor.
Did you understand by pleading true to violation of condition number 2, the court could find it true, grant the motion, find you guilty, sentence you up to 20 years in prison and up to a $10,000 fine? Knowing that, do you still wish to plead true to violation of condition number 2? All right, you're whispering.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Court will find violation of condition number 2 true. Is there a proposed agreement?
Yes, Your Honor, it's for 2 years TDC.
That is our proposed agreement, Your Honor.
All right, why should I give her the minimum? What has she done on probation?
Judge, I can tell you that she did complete drug court. Unfortunately, she kind of fell short in reentry court. She had tons and tons of negative UAs. She had been working really, really hard. I believe that the underlying offense was 7 grams, so I know it's 4,200, but it was closer to the 4 than it was a 200. And Judge, she does have, I think, 139 days in jail. She just really just wants to put this behind her and move on with her life. She tells me she's been working for 2 years at the Tower of Americas. She's hoping they'll keep her job open for her, depending upon how, if you follow the recommendation, how long it takes for her to parole. She's got a house that she bought. Her kids are living in it. They've been paying the rent. She's hoping that will sustain itself while she's gone. But Judge, she just wants to put this behind her and move on. But she did do a significant amount of work on this probation.
All right, you want to raise your right hand for me, please? Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes,
All
ma'am.
right, you can lower your hand. State your name for the record.
Jacqueline C. Sanchez.
All right, why didn't you do well in drug court?
I'm sorry, what was that again?
Why did you not do well in felony drug court?
I didn't have the money to pay for the UAs, ma'am.
No. Felony drug court usually will not remove you from their program because you can't pay UAs. Are you telling the court that you were removed from felony drug court because you couldn't pay for the UA?
And I had a relapse. I had drank 4 beers, ma'am. Judge, she actually graduated from drug court, I believe.
Mhm.
And then she went to the reentry. So I think she completed drug court. So I don't think she had a problem doing drug court. I think it's when she got out.
So here's my question. Why did they remove you from their reentry program?
Because I drank 4 beers, ma'am, on the 23rd.
No, usually it's more than that because felony drug court usually understands relapses. Am I wrong in that? Did they not understand that you had a relapse?
They usually do, ma'am, but this time they felt like I played them.
What do you mean by they felt like you played them?
They felt like I was lying. I lied to them.
Okay. All right. Probation?
Judge, the note that was received from drug court.
Well, just 1 second. Any objections to probation giving me some insight in whether or not I should follow this agreement?
Okay. And also, they found on my phone that I was trying to get methadone for a friend because he relapsed and he was trying to get clean, and that's what I was doing. And I had somebody else ask me I was looking for marijuana for somebody.
Wait a minute, what?
I was looking for marijuana for somebody. They asked me to look for it. They text me if I could find it, and I told them yeah, but I never got to doing that.
Oh, so now we're getting to the point. So you were in felony drug court in the reentry program and you were looking for drugs for other people.
Because I think she was looking for methadone and possibly marijuana. She's not, the perfect probationer, but that's what she told me, Judge. I don't think it was. I made a mistake, Judge. I'm sorry about that.
Nope, you made choices. They're not mistakes, they're choices. All right, is there anything else?
Judge, again, we just ask that you consider the fact that she did spend a lot of time in drug court. She has been straightforward with you, I believe. And ask you to follow the state's recommendation of 2 years TDC.
All right, and do you want me to hear from probation or no, counsel?
Sure. I
No.
don't think my client's trying to hide anything, Judge.
Okay. Probation?
The information that was received from felony drug court was, she did finish the program successfully. However, during the aftercare portion, there were UA tests with positive ETG results, and a phone search was conducted and text messages revealed that he was communicating with negative contacts and negotiating the sale of illegal drugs.
Okay.
I did reach out to felony drug court to see if they would be willing to accept for that, and it just was there not.
All right, so this is what the court is going to do. As previously stated, the court is finding violation of condition number 6 true.
So I think it's,
I'm sorry, number 2 true.
Yes.
Thank you. The violation of condition number 2, the court is finding that to be true. There's a $1,000 fine. Time and money were run concurrent. Was the $57 ever paid for the laboratory testing? Do you know if you ever paid that?
Drug court? Was it
Ah.
to drug court? Okay,
Oh.
no, I have not taken.
Okay. There should be $57 restitution to SAPD for laboratory testing. If you would like, I could have you referred to the therapeutic community. It doesn't increase your time at the prison. It's just something to hopefully help you maintain your sobriety.
Okay, I'll take that.
All right, therapeutic community. Court's going to sentence you to 6 years in prison and give you credit for any time served. Going to show you what's entitled trial court certification of defendants' rights to appeal. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it? All right, did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it?
I'm just letting it to me right now.
Okay.
I explained to you. So you have one of the documents. You understand?
All right, did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes.
All right. Because this is not, I did not follow your proposed agreement with regards to sentencing. You do have a limited right to appeal. That right to appeal is as it relates to the allegations in the motion, not the fact that you are on deferred adjudication. Because this is a felony conviction, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. If you have a question over what a weapon or ammunition is, you'll need to speak to an attorney. Do you understand?
Yes.
All right, we can go off the record. Good luck to you. Even though you're going to the prison, if you get out of prison and you need help, you feel as though that's not being addressed, so you don't know who to contact, felony drug court is always available, okay?
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Good luck to you. All right, who's here on Christopher Medina? Who's here on Michael Campos? Andrew Estrada. All right, Andrew Estrada, where's the, come forward. Today is the plea deadline date. Is he accepting the offer? Or does he wish to have a jury trial?
There's no offer, Judge. I haven't been able to confer with the state.
No,
So the last.
go ahead.
I
I'm
want to
sorry.
speak, Judge, the last time we were here, I wanted to verify what case he had pending out of San Patricio County.
Mhm.
And I was not here this morning. I had another appointment, and so I was recalled to 1:30.
All right, so did you confer with San Patricio County?
I did.
And,
He's on probation till 2027. And
All
then
right.
he has some certificates, and I want to tender those to the state, and I want to confer with them, but we obviously haven't had an opportunity to speak.
all right, so this is gonna be recalled, and next time you can't wear shorts for court. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am, I understand. I apologize for that.
All right. This is gonna be recalled, and it's gonna be recalled on Monday, the 18th. You need to be here on time at 9 a.m. Counsel, if you're not in a jury trial out of county or somewhere else in a felony court, you're gonna need to be here on time at 9 a.m. We're coming back on March 18th.
I have.
I'm missing work clothes.
Right, he
I'm
keeps-
in San Patricio.
He lives in San Patricio County, Judge.
Sorry to hear that. However, March 18th.
I know, Judge, but I have a civil matter on the 18th, but I'm here on other cases on the 19th.
All right, see y'all back on March 18th. Felony criminal court takes precedent over civil unless that is juvenile civil.
And I can resume.
Sorry.
Can we do?
All right.
25th, Judge?
Sean Smith,
Sure.
You ready? Court is calling 2021 CR 3422 and 2021 CR 3423, State of Texas versus Sean Aaron Smith. Could I have the parties announced for the record for the state? Defense.
Sharon Thorne for the defendant, Your Honor.
And are you Mr. Smith?
Yes, Your Honor.
Right. Counsel, in each of the cause numbers, have you received all the discovery and did you review that with your client?
Yes, Your Honor.
Then in each cause number, the court will find that the state is in compliance with discovery. Counsel, are there any applications in these cause numbers?
No, Your Honor.
Right. And each of the cause numbers, sir, did you review the documents entitled True Bill of Indictment with your attorney? Did
Yes.
you understand them?
Yes, Your Honor.
Counsel, in each of the cause numbers, do you waive the reading of the indictment?
Yes, Your Honor.
State, in each of the cause numbers, are you proceeding on the indictment as presented?
Your Honor, clause number 3423, we are proceeding as a repeater.
Is that correct?
That's correct. They're dropping the proceeding as a repeater.
All right, and then, and the cause number ending in 3422?
Your Honor, we are going to drop it down to a repeater, in enhanced allegation.
So you're proceeding on the repeater count?
Yes, yes, sir.
All right, Mr. Smith, and each cause number, I'm going to show you what's entitled Court Admonishments and Defendants Waivers and Affidavit of Admonitions. Did you review those documents with your attorney? Did you understand them? Did you sign them in all the appropriate place?
Yes, Your Honor.
And cause number ending in 22, you're charged with the offense of possession of a controlled substance, penalty group 1, 4 grams to 200 grams. If the state is able to prove up the repeat offender enhancement allegation, the range of punishment will be anywhere from 5 to 99 years or life in prison. And the cause number ending in 23, you're charged with the offense of felon in possession of a firearm. If the state is able to prove up the repeat offender enhancement allegation, your range of punishment will be anywhere from 2 to 20 years in prison and up to a $10,000 fine. Did you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
And each cause number, if you have a plea bargain agreement with the state, the court does not have to follow your plea. If for any reason the court does not follow your plea and gives you more than you bargained for, the fact that you entered a plea will not be used against you, and you will be allowed to withdraw your plea. Did you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
And each cause number, you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call, and the right to remain silent. Did you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you understand by entering this plea, you were giving up those rights?
Yes, Your Honor.
And did you intend to give up those rights and enter into a plea in each of these cause numbers?
Yes, Your Honor.
Counsel, in each of the cause numbers, has your client been able to provide you with any defenses?
Yes, Your Honor.
In each of the cause numbers, do you believe your client has a rational as well as a factual understanding of the charges against him?
Yes, Your Honor.
In each of the cause numbers, do you believe your client is currently competent and was legally sane at the time of the offense?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Smith, in each of the cause numbers, has anyone threatened you, coerced you, or placed you in fear to get you to enter the plea?
No, Your Honor.
Anyone promised you anything other than the plea?
No, Your Honor.
Satisfied with the way you've been represented?
Yes, Your Honor.
Are you a U.S. citizen?
Yes, Your Honor.
In each cause number, the court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived his right to jury trial. In each cause number, I'm showing you the plea bargain page. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, Your Honor.
And according to the plea in each cause number, you'd agree that you previously been convicted of a felony for purposes of enhancement. Punishment is to be assessed at 15 years in the prison. Cause numbers were run concurrently. There are no applications. State is taken in consideration JN number 2090968 and 2090967 and 2090966. Did you understand that to be the plea?
Yes, Your Honor.
Defense?
Yes, Your Honor.
State?
Yes, Your Honor.
In each cause number, I'm showing you the waiver of appeal paragraph. Did you review that paragraph with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in both places?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you understand by signing that you're waiving your right to appeal? The only items that can be appealed are written pretrial motions that have been filed, heard, and ruled upon by the court. Did you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Counsel, have there been any such motions?
No, Your Honor.
Then in cause number ending in 22, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
No contest, Your Honor.
And how do you plea to the enhancement paragraph, true or not true?
True, Your Honor.
And the cause number ending in 23, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
No contest, Your Honor.
And to the enhancement paragraph, how do you plead?
True, Your Honor.
State any evidence to support the defendant's plea?
In each of the cases, judges St. Oliver states Exhibit 1 and all attachments.
No objection.
In each cause, I'm showing you what's entitled waiver and consent to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, Your Honor.
Again, did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call, and the right to remain silent?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you understand that today the state will be presenting evidence in the form of witnesses' statements and police reports, but most importantly, there'll be no live testimony? Did you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
In each cause number, the court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived and consented to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Court will accept into evidence states Exhibits 1 and attachments, and the court will review the same. All right, and cause number 2021 CR 3422, the court will find there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty. The court will find you guilty. The court will find the enhancement true based upon your plea of true. And cause number 2021 CR 3423, the court will find there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty. And the court will find you guilty, and the court will find the enhancement paragraph true based upon your plea of true and states Exhibits 1 and attachments. Are you proceeding with sentencing?
Yes, Your Honor.
Anything you wish to say on behalf of your client?
Yes, Your Honor. First of all, on the, where he's going to be entitled for credit for time served, my client is presently serving the federal sentence that you're aware of. He was having that case. And I want to put in the record, the time that he was picked up from Bexar County Jail, taken to federal custody, and has been continuously in federal custody until brought back to Bexar County Jail on this warrant. And I can give you the case number and the dates, so it's in the record.
All right, if you will give me the case number.
The case number is 5:23 CR 136. It's United States of America versus Sean Smith.
Okay.
And on June 3rd, 2022, he was taken from the Bexar County Jail and transferred to the federal facility, I believe it's Karnes County GO, and has been continuously in Karnes County federal custody until February 20th, 2024, when he was brought back here to the Bexar County Jail on your warrant. And I would ask this court to give him credit for all that time, which would be 2 years, because when checking with your clerk, he only had 41 days on this case because he was taken automatically.
All right, and cause number 2021 CR 3423. Court will find you guilty. The enhancement is true. The court will sentence you to 15 years in the prison, give you credit for any time served. This is the wrong concurrent with 2021 CR 3422. Taken into consideration JN number 2090967-966. And this is the wrong concurrent with federal cause number 523 CR 136. The defendant is also given credit for the following dates: June 3rd, 2022 to the present. Anything else with regards to sentencing in that cause number?
Yes, Your Honor. And this would apply to both cases. Because he has been sentenced in federal court to, I believe, 78 months, he is still serving that time. And we are asking this court, no, you can't tell the federal courts what to do, but if these two cases could run concurrent with his federal time.
Oh, I put that in there. I said concurrent with.
Okay,
Yeah.
but I'm sorry, I must have missed
No
that part. Yeah,
problem.
but yes.
All right, and then in cause number 2021 CR 3422, court is finding the defendant guilty, the enhancement true, sentence you to 15 years in the prison, give you credit for any time served. This is run concurrent with 2021 CR 3423. Take in consideration JN number 2090968. This is run concurrent with federal cause number 523 CR 136. Plus, there's to be credit for time served in the federal case from June 3rd, 2022 to the present. Anything else with regards to sentencing in that matter?
No, Your Honor, I guess I just have a question. Would the federal marshals come pick him up to finish his federal sentence?
Yes, he will be picked up.
Okay, that was my only question.
Sure. And each cause number, did you review what's entitled trial court certification of defendant's rights to appeal with your attorney? Did you understand it and did you sign it?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, because this is a plea bargain agreement in each of these cause numbers, because I followed your plea bargain agreement. And because you waived your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Because these are felony convictions, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. If you have a question over what a weapon or ammunition is, you'll need to speak to an attorney. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes. All right, good luck to you.
It's the same one.
Sure.
Sorry about earlier for wasting the court's time, and it was a misunderstanding.
No, no problem. Let me just tell you, it's never a waste of my time. I'm here. This is what I'm paid to do. So it's not a waste, but I appreciate your apology and I'm glad you and your attorney were able to communicate. I think communication is great. All right, you're gonna have to change your life. Otherwise, you're gonna end up in prison constantly. You understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, good luck to you.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Honor, maybe
Well,
excused.
Yes. Who's here on Ochoa? Court is calling 2022 CR 7371, State of Texas versus Jonathan Matthew Ochoa. Can I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Hank Wilkins for the state.
Defense,
Raymond Bell for the defense.
are you Mr. Ochoa?
Yes.
All right. Counsel, have you received all the discovery? Did you review that with your client?
I have, Your Honor.
Court will find that the state is in compliance with discovery. Mr. Ochoa? Is there no application in this case?
No, Judge.
All right.
It's MTR and then DWI.
All right, Mr. Ochoa, and this cause number, did you review the true bill of indictment with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, Your Honor.
Counsel, do you waive the reading of the indictment?
I do, Your Honor.
State, are you proceeding on the indictment as presented?
One moment, Your Honor.
That would be yes.
Oh, yes, Your Honor.
Yes, Judge.
All right. Mr. Ochoa, I'm going to show you what's entitled Court Admonishments and Defendants Waivers and Affidavit of Admonitions. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes.
Did you understand you're charged while driving while intoxicated, third or more? That's a third-degree felony. Range of punishment is anywhere from 2 to 10 years in prison and up to a $10,000 fine. Did you understand?
Yes.
If you have a plea with the state, the court does not have to follow your plea. If for any reason the court does not follow your plea and gives you more than you bargained for, the fact that you entered a plea will not be used against you and you will be allowed to withdraw your plea. Did you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call and the right to remain silent?
Yes.
Did you understand by entering this plea, you were giving up those rights?
Yes.
Did you intend to give up those rights and enter into a plea in this case?
Yes.
Counsel, has your client been able to provide you with any defenses?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you believe he has a rational as well as a factual understanding of the charges against him?
I do based on my interactions.
Do you believe he's currently competent and was legally sane at the time of the offense?
I do, Your Honor.
Yes.
Judge, this said 27th and I changed it to 2048, but you had already signed it, so I just wanted to.
No, that's fine that I've signed it.
Okay.
Yes.
I'll take care of it.
You grabbed the bottom one, sorry.
All right, counsel, do you believe he's currently competent and was legally sane at the time of the offense?
I do, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Ochoa, has anyone threatened you, coerced you, or placed you in fear to get you to enter this plea?
No.
Anyone promise you anything other than the plea?
No.
Satisfied with the way you've been represented?
Yes.
Are you a U.S. citizen?
Yes.
Court will find that the defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived his right to jury trial, showing you the plea bargain page. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, we did.
According to the plea bargain agreement, punishment is to be assessed at 5 years in the prison. This will run concurrent with 2021 CR 7422. There are no applications. The state will take in consideration NIGHTMAG number 74950-1 and County Court Cause number 684976. Did you understand that to be the plea?
Yes.
Defense?
Yes.
State?
Yes, Your Honor.
Showing you the waiver of appeal paragraph. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, I did.
And did you sign it in both places?
Yes.
Did you understand by signing that you're waiving your right to appeal? The only items that can be appealed are written pretrial motions that have been filed, heard, and ruled upon by the court. Did you understand?
Yes.
Counsel, are there any such motions?
No, Your Honor.
Then to the offenses charged, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
No contest.
State any evidence
Your Honor, I offer State's Exhibit 1 in the attachments.
We reviewed the same. No objection, Your Honor.
showing you what's entitled waivering consent to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes.
Again, did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call in the right to remain silent?
Yes.
Did you understand that today the state will be presenting evidence in the form of witnesses' statements and police reports, but most importantly, there will be no live testimony? Did you understand?
Yes.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived and consented to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Court will accept into evidence State's Exhibits 1 and attachments. The court has reviewed the same. The court will find there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty, and the court will find you guilty. Are you proceeding with sentencing?
We are, Your Honor.
All right, the court will follow your agreement, sentence you to 5 years in the prison. This will run concurrent with 2021 CR 7422. Taking consideration NIGHTMAG number 749501, County Court Cause number 684976, and give you credit for any time served. Did you review the document entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Right to Appeal with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes.
And did you sign it?
Yes.
Because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waived your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Do you understand?
Yes.
Next, we're going to proceed in cause number 2021 CR 7422. Going to show you what's entitled motion to revoke community supervision and First Amendment motion to revoke community supervision. Did you review those documents with your attorney? Did you understand them?
Yes.
Are you the same Jonathan Matthew Ochoa who was placed on community supervision in 2021 CR 7422 for the offense of violation bond protective order assault on March 3rd, 2022 for a term of 5 years? Is that you?
Yes.
State? One moment, sorry. Violated condition number 1, on or about the 14th day of May, 2022 in Bexar County, Texas. The defendant, Jonathan Matthew Ochoa, committed the offense of driving while intoxicated in violation of condition number 1.
How do you plead to that? True or not true?
True.
And Your Honor, we waived the other violations alleged in the motion.
No
Any
objection, Your Honor.
objection? Did you understand by pleading true to violation of condition number 1, the court could find it true, grant the motion, sentence you up to $1,500 fine and 5 years in the prison?
Yes.
Knowing that, do you still wish to plead true to violation of condition number 1? Is there an agreement?
There is, Your Honor. We're asking that you revoke the defendant and sentence him to 5 years in the prison.
All right, is that the agreement?
It is, Your Honor.
Are you asking the court to follow that agreement?
Yes.
Are you waiving your right to appeal?
Yes.
The court will follow your agreement. The court will sentence you to 5 years in the prison. There's a $1,500 fine. Time and money will run concurrent. Give you credit for any time served. Sentence you to 5 years in the prison. And this will run concurrent with 2022 CR 7371. And there's an affirmative finding of family violence. In just one moment. And there's to be no contact with Vivian Mendoza and Stacy Lopez. Showing you what's entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it? And did you sign it?
Yes.
Because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waive your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Because this is a felony conviction and an affirmative finding of family violence, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. If you have a question over what a weapon or ammunition is, you'll need to speak to an attorney. Do you understand?
Yes.
All right, good luck to you. You're gonna have to start making better decisions. You understand?
Yes, I do.
All right. All right, who is here on J. Angel Juarez? Is he on bond? All right, just give me one moment. Let me take care of the people who are in the box first. Who's left in the box?
That's my client, Judge.
Oh, yeah, so right in front of that box.
All right, Jose Luis Villarreal, come down. Today is his plea deadline date. What's happening?
They're giving me another offer right now, so just waiting to hear from them.
All right, you're all coming back on the 18th. Counsel, you need to be here at 9 a.m. Unless you are,
Scheduled for trial in, what is it? I'm scheduled for trial on one of these, in one of the courts here in Bear County, so.
all right, so you need to be here at 9 a.m. Tell them this is where you need to be at 9 a.m. So we're going to come back on Norma on March 18th. This is coming back for disposition. The court will not extend the plea deadline date any further from March 18th. All
Will
right.
do, Judge. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, who else is in the box?
That's Christopher Medina, Judge.
All right, and counsel, I know you're currently in jury trial.
Yes, but we just had an issue about a bond with MTR. Oh,
All right, the bond on the MTR, that'll be set with Judge Nahara.
okay, so are you gonna refer us over there, or if we have an agreement, can we just,
You'll have to be referred over there to Judge Nahara.
so I'll talk to you about it.
Yes. All right, and Norma, make sure that there's a setting on this for no later than March 18th. All right, Mr. Juarez. Court is calling 2024 CR 1043, State of Texas versus J. Angel Juarez. Can I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Hank Wilkins for the state, Your Honor.
Defense?
Carl Basil, Your Honor.
Are you Mr. Juarez?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, have you received all the discovery and did you review it with your client?
Yes, Your Honor.
Court will find that the state is in compliance with discovery. Mr. Juarez, I'm showing you what's entitled Application for Deferred Adjudication or Community Supervision. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it?
Yes, ma'am.
Showing you what's entitled True Bill of Indictment. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, do you waive the reading of the indictment?
Yes, Your Honor.
State, are you proceeding on the indictment as presented?
We are, Your Honor.
Mr. Juarez, I'm showing you what's entitled Court Admonishments and Defendants Waivers and Affidavit of Admonitions. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand you're charged with evading arrest detention with a vehicle?
Yes.
That's a third-degree felony. Range of punishment is anywhere from 2 to 10 years in prison and up to a $10,000 fine. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
If you have a plea with the state, court does not have to follow your plea. If for any reason the court does not follow your plea and gives you more than you bargained for, the fact that you entered a plea will not be used against you and you will be allowed to withdraw your plea. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call and the right to remain silent?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand by entering this plea, you were giving up those rights?
Yes, ma'am.
And did you intend to give up those rights and enter into a plea in this case?
Can you repeat that, please?
Did you intend to give up those rights
No,
and
ma'am.
enter, listen to me.
Listen to it.
Did you intend to give up those rights and enter into a plea in this case?
No, ma'am.
So you want a jury trial?
Oh, no, ma'am. I'm sorry.
All right, listen to what I'm saying. The rights that I've gone over with you, do you understand them?
Oh, yes, ma'am.
Are you intending to give up those rights and enter into a plea bargain agreement today?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand if the court were to grant your application for deferred adjudication, if for any reason your deferred adjudication were revoked, the court could find you guilty, sentence you up to 10 years in prison and up to a $10,000 fine? You need to speak up.
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, has your client been able to provide you with any defenses?
No, Your Honor.
Do you believe he has a rational as well as a factual understanding of the charges against him?
I believe he does, Your Honor.
Do you believe he's currently competent and was legally sane at the time of the offense?
In my opinion, he was, Your Honor, and is.
Mr. Juarez, has anyone threatened you, coerced you, or placed you in fear to get you to enter the plea?
No, ma'am.
Anyone promised you anything other than the plea?
No, ma'am.
Satisfied with the way you've been represented?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you a U.S. citizen?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived his right to jury trial, showing you the plea bargain page. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
According to the plea, $2,000 fine. State recommends deferred adjudication. They're taking in consideration 708,710. There's to be restitution to Kiana Warner. Did you understand that to be the plea?
Yes, ma'am.
Defense?
Yes, Your Honor.
State.
Yes, Your Honor. The only issue I'd like to address would be the fine when we get to it.
All right. Showing you what's entitled waiver of appeal paragraph. Did you review that paragraph with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in both places?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand by signing that you're waiving your right to appeal? The only items that can be appealed are written pretrial motions that have been filed, heard, and ruled upon by the court. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, have there been any such motions?
No, Your Honor.
Next, I'm showing you outside the agreement. State is requesting that your community supervision be for a term of 6 years. There'll be a TAP evaluation and 200 hours of community service restitution. Did you understand those are recommendations from the state and the court does not have to follow those recommendations?
Yes, ma'am.
Then to the offenses charge, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
No contest.
State, any evidence?
Your Honor, I offer State's Exhibit 1 in the attachments.
No objections, Your Honor.
Showing you what's entitled waiver and consent to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, ma'am.
Again, did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state will call and the right to remain silent?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand that today the state will be presenting evidence in the form of witnesses' statements and police reports, but most importantly, there'll be no live testimony? Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived and consented to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Court will accept into evidence State's Exhibits 1 and attachments and review the same. All right, after reviewing State's Exhibits 1 and attachments, the court will find there's sufficient evidence to find you guilty. The court will defer finding of guilt as you've applied for deferred adjudication. Are you proceeding with sentencing?
Yes, Your Honor.
Anything you wish to say on behalf of your client?
Your Honor, my client just like the court to go along with the agreement. He's young, as the court can see, he did have a juvenile warrant at that time. That's been taken care of. I'd like the court to consider probating part of his fine. It's a $2,000 fine. He's 18 years old. He's gonna have to find a job. I know you didn't get the GED, did you? I'd like the court to order that he get a GED. I think it's very helpful for him, make sure he gets
I'm
some.
sorry, sir. I'm having a hard time understanding you. Can you
Okay.
please speak up?
I'd like to have the court order, fine. I think it would be a good idea for him to get the GED, would help him in the future, plus be able to pay everything he has to do now. I'd like the court to, if they could probate at least half of the fine so that he can use the money he would make from the job to pay the restitution. And then if possible, if the court could take some of the community service and allow him to work. I think it's more important that he work and learn how to work and take care of himself and support himself at this time.
All right, what's the court cost for evading arrest with a vehicle, please? It's a third-degree felony.
Yes.
How far did you go in school?
To the 9th grade, ma'am.
Why did you drop out of school?
I really don't have no excuse.
How old are you?
18.
Whose vehicle was this that you were driving?
My mother's.
Do you have any children?
No, ma'am.
All right, that's a good thing.
Yes, ma'am.
Are you employed?
No.
So what do you do with your life?
Um, I help my brother-in-law with construction, but it's not, I guess you could say, a real job. I get paid under the table.
Okay. All right, this is what the court is going to do. There's a $2,000 fine that will be probated. 200 hours of community service restitution. You're going to obtain your GED, or either you're going to get your certificate in a trade school. Take in consideration County Court 12, cause number 708710. There should be restitution to Kiana Warner, and cause number 708710. There should be regular reporting by Zoom or in person, regular UAs, and there's to be no driving for 1 year. You're going to have to start taking the VIA bus. Your privileges for driving are suspended with this court. You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
And Miss Abrams, I guess he can do a driver's course or something. Yes. You're going to do the driver's safety course. Hopefully you don't need to drive to pass because you're not driving for a year. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm going to want field visits 1 time per month for 3 months. If you're drug tested today, what are the results going to be?
Positive.
For what?
Marijuana.
All right, I appreciate your honesty with me.
Yes,
You're not
ma'am.
allowed to use marijuana while you're on probation. You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so we're going to do UAs and he's going to be tested for levels. Those levels had better start going down. You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
And I'm going to sentence you to 5 years deferred adjudication.
Thank you.
All right. And the court cost for this is $325. Are you able to pay that in installments?
No, ma'am.
All right. I'm going to waive court costs. And that waiver of court costs does not include the supervisory fees that you pay probation. You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Probation, is there anything else he needs? Once he completes, if he obtains his GED, which I'm ordering, or either a certificate from trade school, then the community service hours will be deemed satisfied. And I'm sorry, there's going to be proof of employment within 45 days, and there should be no employment as a home healthcare provider or with minors. Anything else from probation? No. Is there anything else you need from the court to be successful?
No, ma'am.
All right, did you review the document entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal with your attorney? Did you understand it and did you sign it?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, because this is a plea bargaining agreement, because I followed your plea bargaining agreement, and because you waived your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, we can go off the record. There are so many things that could have happened that night. You could have ended up killing somebody, because that's where that restitution comes in. You hit a car. You have to start thinking about the consequences for your action. So from here on out, everything that you do while you're on probation in this court, you need to ask yourself a question. Is this something that could potentially result in me being revoked and going to prison for 10 years? If it is, you better not do it. You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. If there is any issue you have, let probation know. If you feel like they're not addressing it, you can always come back to the court and speak with me or the probation officer in here. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Good luck to you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Sure. Do you need a break, Dinah?
I need 10 minutes, Judge.
All right. If you'll take your break and then we'll come back and bring the jurors back in.
Can I get 15 just to rest my hands? are
Sure.
swollen.
Go ahead. Oh, no, please be seated. We stand for you.
Thank you.
All right, everyone, please be seated. All right, I know we're back later than I said we would be, but Diana always does such a great job that sometimes we don't remember that she needs a break as well. So while you all were out, we were still on the record with other cases in this court, not related to this case. And so then I needed to make sure that Diana had a break as well. All right. So I believe the record wasn't clear. The state had offered states exhibits 46 through 55. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And defense, you had no objections to those? All right. So states exhibit 46 through 55 then will be entered into evidence. And states, you may continue with your witness. You're still under oath, sir.
So I'm going to show you some more photos here. I don't have too many more left. But can you tell us, what do you recognize in States Exhibit 56?
Okay, what I see here is one of my kayaks. I have two of these, and I see one of the Native American blankets laying on top of it, and also that piece of artwork you see is a drawing that was done for me for the 37 Ford truck that I had.
Okay, and what do you recognize in States 57?
When the rank that I was at in the military was Chief Master Sergeant, so these are chief busts that were given to me as retirement gifts. The one that's the largest that you can see in the foreground was on a base with words on it that was given to me from the Chiefs group when I made Chief Master Sergeant, and the one that's sitting down in that bed of that truck is a chief bust that was actually just given to me for my retirement. I also see one of the kayaks appears to be the same one on a different angle, and the blankets there too.
Okay, what do you recognize in States 58?
Okay, there's an orange World War One. Hate to use the word bomb, but it's a practice bomb. It was that's what that is. And there's also a World War II practice bomb. And then there's two tail pieces from 500-pound bombs. They're just items that I picked up that were just man cave garage stuff. I see also two of the military bags.
And do you recognize anything in States 59?
Yeah, these are military bags. Of course, one of them displays my name right on it in blue lettering. And I can also see the two bomb backs is what I'll call them, the ones with the fins and the two laying on the ground.
And do you recognize anything in States Exhibit 60?
Yeah, copper kettle, that was ours. I see another small copper pot on the right side. That's ours. And also on the left, that's ours. And the box that it sits in is just a vintage box.
And do you recognize anything in States 61?
Yeah, these are two of the salt pepper shakers, Native American theme.
Do you recognize anything in States Exhibit 62?
I see two of the military bags. Again, I can see the name on one of them. I see boxes from Home Depot that are open. Can't see what's in them.
Do you recognize anything in State 63?
Yeah, the Marilyn Monroe trash can. That's a crossbow that was given to me by my father. It was from Vietnam. It shot bamboo arrows. So it was just a collector piece. And I see a piece of artwork that's still in bubble wrap that belonged to my wife. It's a Native American lady. And then there's one of those picnic baskets we spoke of.
Do you recognize anything in State 64?
One of my military plaques. Actually, I see three of the military plaques in here. Two of them were given to me at retirement. One was while I was in Afghanistan, given to me as a gift. I see that porcelain old school boxer guy that again was for a drink display.
Okay, and do you recognize anything in States Exhibit 65?
Yes. In the one box, I see one of the lawn darts. I actually had those early 1970 that they ended up outlawing, lawn darts, and a box. I'm not even sure what was in the box, but it has my name and address on it.
Thank you. Your Honor, I offer States Exhibit 56 through 65.
All right, States Exhibits 56 through 65 is admitted without objection.
Do I have permission to publish these, Your Honor?
Granted.
So this is States Exhibit 57. Can you describe what these are again to the jury?
Yes, in the bed of what appears to be a pickup bed, there's, in the foreground, the closest one to you is partial. It was mounted on a base that was given to me when I made Chief Master Sergeant in the Air Force. As a commemorative piece they gave to chiefs. I see it, one of my 2 kayaks in the bed of the truck. I also see another chief. It's actually Chief Joseph. It was just a bust that was given to me for my retirement.
Okay, and it states 64. What's in the top right-hand corner here? I guess left-hand corner.
That's a picture of a KC-10, or excuse me, yeah, that one was a KC-10 aircraft that was given to me by as a retirement gift from the squadron, the KC-10 squadron. I ran the maintenance squadron, and then they had other squadrons that were related to aircraft maintenance, and that was a different squadron that gave me that as a gift.
And this is States 65.
That's the box that I don't know what was in that box. It has my name on it, and also has a lawn dart that you can see. I had the whole set. Just nostalgic. I think I had that my entire life since I was a kid.
And this is States 59. Are these more of those military bags?
Yes, those are military bags that held military clothing items. And in the background, I could see the historical bombs, I guess you'd call them, a World War I bomb, World War II, and then the back pieces, the fins.
So can you tell me, do you recognize any of your, do you recognize anything in States Exhibit 66, 67, and 68?
Yeah, what just pops off is this no trespassing sign. I had a whole bunch of signs. Some were vintage, some were military, just stuff that you throw on a garage wall, like a man cave wall. That was just a private property, no trespassing sign. And it appears to be our tubs and the wrapping that we used to wrap it all up in. I can see one of the sheepskin pelts on that one. This tub has my name on it, Terry. I think it just had knickknacks, things in it, collectibles, that type of thing. Rest is pretty well strewed about. And this picture, I see the zebra blanket that I had mentioned before. You see one of my ammo cans. That blue bag that you see there was goes all the way back to my Air Force days. It was issued to me when I was in basic training, and it was just full of military stuff like letters between me and family.
And do you recognize any of the objects in States Exhibit 69?
Yes, in this box, in one of my flights, it was the ammo flight that did munitions. This was their logo, their plaque that they gave me at retirement. What's missing is an inert grenade that has a little tag on it that said, "For complaints, pull the pin."
Can you tell the jury what you mean by flight?
Yes, yes. In my squadron, we had 6 separate flights, and in those 6 separate flights, you had shops. So like fabrication flight would have an NDI lab, non-destructive inspection lab, a structural maintenance shop, fiberglass facility. They had a welding shop, machine shop. So that would be one flight, and then ammo flight was just what it did. It did ammo, munitions, squibs, explosives, that type of thing, and and so on. They had aero repair shop, and they did systems that are on the aircraft.
Excuse me, you said SWIPs?
Yeah, a squib.
If you could spell it, please.
SQUIBS, squib. It's just a name for a charge that gets exploded that maybe sets off a life raft.
All right, I'm just asking you to spell it for purposes of
Yeah.
court reporter. Okay,
Got it.
thank you.
Can you tell the jury if you recognize anything in State's Exhibit 70, 71, 72, and 73?
Yeah, I see frames, can't see what's in each frame. I see the box that it was in. It said chief's room. I had a room with all my military stuff in it. That was the original box for it. I'm not sure if these are the original items that were thrown in this particular box, but I can see the lid for it. I see two of Rachel's alabaster eggs. Looks like a duck egg or chicken egg, but it's made out of rock. And I see a vintage Eddie Ruxpin doll that's peeking out of that one box.
State's Exhibit 71.
Yes, I recognize, there's a couple of holsters, leather holsters, gun holsters that are in there. See a book that's familiar. I don't even know what that particular book is, but I see a box on the left that said, it had Bali shells in it. When I went to Bali, I had brought back, large seashells for Rachel.
And what about in 72?
Yes, this was in a bag, medical bag. It's a bag probably about 3 feet long and about 2 foot wide that had nothing but medical supplies in it. So bandages, splints, that kind of thing. And it's sitting inside of one of Rachel's vintage crates.
And what about in 73 there?
Yes, this has a lot of military patches in it that I collected from other services. A lot of them in this particular bag were from when I was in Afghanistan, different squadrons. We would do patch swaps with different coalition forces just to collect. That black box you see was full of military coins. Military coins are a big thing in the military. You get coined for different things, mementos, if you will. And I also see a picture of me and my wife in that frame. And again, that same crate with the medical supplies in it.
And do you recognize any objects in State's Exhibit 74?
Yes, I do. The bear carving is from Alaska. It's mine. And then the framed art that you see there is actually a picture of Jesus when he was a teenager, kind of a rare print of that. And yeah, I never got that one back.
Do you recognize any objects in State's Exhibit 75?
Yes, I do. There is a picture of Rachel's father that I can see when he was a young man. He was a Navy SEAL actually, and looks like there's lots of other photographs and stuff, and there's one of her boxes. There's also a shrunken head that's on a plaque, and the rest can't make out, just garbage.
Your Honor, I offer State's Exhibit 66 through 75.
All right, State's Exhibit 66 through 75 is admitted.
Can I publish these, Your Honor?
Yes.
Okay, so State's Exhibit 68. Can you tell us about this bag again?
That blue bag, when I was in basic training, I was issued that bag, and in that bag, it had a stamp that you would put on all your personal belongings. I also kept in there all the letters that I had. We're talking all the way back to 1978. Letters from family, my wife at that time, that kind of stuff. Love letters, if you will, military stuff. was in that bag.
And then State's Exhibit 69, can you tell us what was this?
That was from our ammo flight, the munitions folks. At my retirement, they gave me that retirement plaque. And the little bracket that's there is what had a grenade on it.
And so when you say, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
It was an inert wall hanger, basically.
And so when you say flight, these are fellows that you worked with,
Correct.
people that
They were subordinate. I'm at the squadron level, running the squadron, and then they had flight chiefs. And then below those flight chiefs had various shops. That's how I was kind of tiered. That was a standalone flight because all they did was ammo. But it was one of my flights.
And then in State's Exhibit 73, what are we seeing here?
In the box in the center, it's full of patches. I recognize the patches as being the ones that I traded back and forth with the patches I had with various military organizations in foreign countries while in Afghanistan. The box with the handle on it is full of military coins. And the box on the far right had some of that medical supply stuff I was talking about. And in that yellow one was some pictures, and I could see one of them in the oval frame was me and a wife. Like an old-fashioned picture, like they do those old-fashioned photos. That's good.
Hey, can you tell us what's in State's Exhibit 70?
That one's just full of framed pictures, but the one thing that I can see clearly is the head, like that Teddy Ruxpin doll that I had. Also the yellow lid that had Chief's room on it. My military stuff.
Do you recognize anything in State's Exhibit 75? I'm sorry, 76?
Yes, I do. This was a project that I was a project manager on the C-5 aircraft. And at the end of that project, I was given this plaque. That's just a piece of it. It had 3 coins on it to commemorate what we were doing from the Air Force. And it's missing the base for it, which had all the words on it that was given to me directly.
And can you tell, do you recognize anything in State's Exhibit 77?
One of my business cards showing my rank, my title.
Do you recognize anything in State's Exhibit 78?
This piece right here is actually the base to that one that I said was incomplete just a second ago. It had the coins in it. There's also a bag with coins in it, military coins. The ISAF coalition medal is in there. I can see a metal box here. This is what was ripped out of one of the metal boxes. It still has the metal attached to it. That's the foam that it's set in.
And do you recognize anything in State's Exhibit 79?
Yes, this was a curio that my mom gave me. It had 4 glass shelves that went up just to put curios on.
And do you recognize anything in State's Exhibit 80?
Yeah, those are some of my automotive pneumatic tools, spray guns, sanders, stuff like that for restoring cars.
Do you recognize anything in State's Exhibit 81?
Yes, I see one of Rachel's Native American baskets. I see one of my Sims fishing boots. I go to Alaska every year and fish, and that was part of my gear. I see a framed photo newspaper article that was of my father back in his martial art days. Yeah. I see one of my name placards that were on my desk with my name on it.
Do you recognize anything in State's Exhibit 82?
It's a closer view of that name plaque with my name on it that went on my desk. I see one of Rachel's Native American books. I see some framed art pictures of us, an ammo can. Yeah. Yes.
Do you recognize any of the objects in State's Exhibit 83?
Yes, these were full of photographs, some framed and some not. It's a picture of my son, both my sons, Thomas and Brian. Brian when he was a kid, Thomas when he was a kid. This is an Air Force plaque. I believe that was from when I went through the senior NCO Academy. It was just a plaque that had a certificate in it.
Your Honor, I offer States Exhibit 76, States Exhibit 76 through 83.
I'm sorry, you said 76 through 83?
Yes.
All right, States Exhibits 76 through 83 are admitted without objection.
Your Honor, do I have permission to publish these?
Yes.
This is States Exhibit 76. Can you describe this for the jury?
That was part of that commemorative plaque that was given to me for a project that I was, that I had up for C-5 aircraft. It says on it can bird or can do, a lengthy process, but basically it was taking one aircraft and taking parts off of it to keep other aircraft flying for a specified amount of time. You'd keep one aircraft down while you're keeping other aircraft flying until the parts come in, and during that specified time, you'd rebuild that aircraft back, and then you would designate another aircraft that maybe had some maintenance issues. So it was called cannibalization, and they called it the can do. So there's a commemorative plaque there.
Okay. And this is States Exhibit 81. It might be a little dark to see there, but do you see anything in there that you recognize?
Yeah, I can see. I see the Sims wader boot, part of my fishing gear. I see one of Rachel's Native American baskets. I do notice over here on the far right that looks like it has holes in it, a piece of aluminum. That was a plaque that was given to me. It looked like an aircraft panel that was made out of rivets and aluminum. It had some really nice words on it. And yeah, the rest is pretty well tossed.
And this is States Exhibit 82.
On that table, I see a name placard that went on my desk. I was in the military, and I see some boxes that look familiar. I see a military bag on the ground. I see one of Rachel's Native American books on that yellow lid.
And then this is States Exhibit 83. What's in that?
Yeah, box full of pictures. That's a picture of my son, both of my sons, Thomas and Brian, when they were kids. There's other photos that look like they were stuffed in that particular bag. And then in the plastic tub, I can see clearly some of the plaques that were on my wall that had accomplishments, if you will, like military academy, that type of thing, that was framed in them.
Okay. And so I want to talk to you a little bit about the valuation of some of these things. Did you prepare what I have marked as States Exhibit 84?
Yes, painstakingly. This was one of the lengthy lists that we tried to put together for insurance on all the things that were stolen and the value of all the items that were stolen.
Okay, and so you made this?
Yes, I did.
And
Myself and Rachel, working together.
And does this fairly and accurately list the values of the items that were stolen?
Yes, it does. Everything in there was looked up against current market and or what was remembered, what we purchased things for. A lot of this was passed down and collected over my whole 35 years of military. So,
Your Honor, I offer States Exhibit 84.
fire chief?
Yes.
So, Mr. Kirkbride, I just want to make sure that I'm clear how, where the numbers came from. In some cases, they're your recollection of purchase price, correct?
In some cases, yes.
In some cases, would you say they're estimates?
No, they were looked up, researched. When the insurance company became involved in this in the beginning, we spent approximately almost 4 months painstakingly inventorying everything that we had that was stolen out of that trailer. And in the course of doing that, we had to utilize the internet, and like I'll use the top one here, like samurai swords. 2 were newer; they were worth a couple $100. Then I had 2 World War II samurai swords that were valued at $2,000. I mean, that's an average, and these are conservative numbers because they were going to the adjuster. The adjuster was doing their research too on lots of this. This whole process took a little over a year to finally get settled up with insurance, and it still wasn't satisfactory, but it is what it is. They work in strange ways, the insurance company.
So to summarize, through various sources and various research, these are numbers you came up with on your own.
Yes, sir.
And you have negotiated with the insurance after that.
Yes, I gave this information to our adjusters, and we went through like 3 different adjusters before it finally went to their top tier, the USAAS tiers, because we weren't getting satisfied. And I'll use an example. There's an item on here called a Blue Max, and it's a World War I. I'll just call it a World War I Flying Ace Award. Highly valuable. It's gold and porcelain, and it was given to like the highest. The Red Baron was given one in World War I. So this was part of my father's collection that I inherited, and the value ranged, of course, conditions, everything. And all I had was some photos that we had of it to kind of estimate our condition. So that's how we came up with this crazy number here, because that is the range for one of these. Of course, they didn't look at it that way on the insurance side. They just Googled Blue Max, and they came up with a lapel pin. It was $3.95, and they tried to initially say that's what you get for it. And we were like, well, we'll pump your brakes. And we went through, like I said, a couple of different adjusters before we took it up to on all these items, until we took it up to the top tier, and they had their expert kind of go through and quantify. And then they had their own formulations. So what was claimed was X dollar amount, and what was given in payment was half of that.
The government objected in its own rendition of what it believes on the times. So that's what it's been offered for.
All right. So there's then State's Exhibit number 84 is admitted.
Thank you, Judge. Can I publish it, Your Honor?
Yes.
This is a copy, right? I have one too. I just wanted, you've got one of that. I don't know if we can- The trade show. Yeah. So I'm not gonna go through the whole list, sir, but this is a document that you put together that has the value of the various items that were stolen, right?
Yes, sir.
So at the top of that first page, you had some samurai swords. Is that something that you collected?
2 of them I collected, 2 were given to me by my father, and the 2 that were given to me by my father and his collection were the World War II samurai swords.
Okay, and there's some other items up there, like there's some Hitler and Nazi stuff. Is that part of your military collecting stuff? Is that?
Yes, a lot of that was my father's collection too. So I had an SS helmet, an SS dagger, a Luftwaffe dagger, and they're all mint condition. And No way do I hold in any high regard any of that. But it's highly collectible, and so I did have a pretty extensive collection of military items to
Okay.
include those.
And the fifth item from the bottom, that German Blue Max, you got a range on there, 30 grand to 50 grand. Can you tell the jury, what is that Blue Max? And you talked about it a little bit, but what is that?
It's a cross, like a Maltese cross. It's gold. It's porcelain and gold, real gold. And it was the highest, was one of the highest honors it could be.
Just lean forward, just a microphone.
It was one of the highest honors that could be given to a World War I German, like a flyer, like a flying ace. It's like a flying ace award. They're rare, and the condition of mine was in excellent condition. And what's sad is that all of these high-end things were part of my very meticulous records that I had that were also in the trailer, along with all my documentation that I had nothing to reference back to. A lot of us being able to put this list together was from getting family pictures from family that were sending it to us, and then we'd blow up an area on a shelf, and there might be 6 items we can see on that shelf, and then I would circle each one, and then I would list it, and then we'd have to go through painstakingly and assess a value to it. The values we assessed just wasn't what we felt, it was what we seen as comps. So we kind of took the high low, and we gave the middle, if you will, to the insurance company. And we did that in repetition for everything. Some of the collections, like vintage toys, I had wind up Japanese toys, motorcycles, a very extensive motorcycle collection. All those items were highly valued, and so a lot of internet researching, pulling down pictures of them, getting the values of them, and feeding all that information to the insurance company, along with this list, if you will. I mean, we also gave our proof of what they were worth. Well, it was horrific spending our move going to Florida to be with our kids and grandkids for the first year, doing nothing but this with the insurance company, just to try to get to an end. And yeah. So we just, when we took it up to the top tier, we just accepted what they were going to give us, and we just took it as that's life. And so hopefully I'm not straying too far, but that's a Blue Max. That's what it was. That was the range of value. I'd have to look at the USAA one, because I probably couldn't do it off the top of my head, but they actually assessed a value to it at the end. But they did do that to come up with a number to give us.
So at the top of this document, it says it's a partial list. So is this an exhaustive list of everything that was stolen?
No, we probably, in the course of this dealing back and forth with the insurance company, as we would remember things that were no longer ours, we would add to the list. So she kept it. It was an ongoing list up to a point where they finally said, okay, we're going to stop here. Even to this day, we still remember certain things that we don't have. I mean, we never got put on the list. The list, to me, nothing on here was line by line given a compensation for it. I believe the insurance company just took all of this, took all of our information, and just kind of assigned a number to it. So that's what you're going to get. And that's how it worked. Yeah. But we had probably 4 or 5 versions of this to get to the final one that went to the insurance company. And the USAA representative at that tier took that and then put it in her own spreadsheet, which they had given you a copy of that to kind of show value, depreciation, what they were going to give us. They kind of did a line by line, a little different format than you're seeing here.
Okay.
That's how.
And so when you and I talked about this earlier, we talked about the list, and we talked about how there's some of your items on the list, your wife's items on the list, but your son was moving with you too, right?
Correct.
And so some of the items on the list are your son's items. Is that right?
That is correct.
So I'm on the 3rd page of this document. So we showed me earlier
Yeah.
tell the jury. The PlayStation, was that
Yes.
yours?
No, that was Thomas's. So Thomas had just gotten out of the army, and when he knew that we were going to move from California to Florida to be with the rest of the family, he wanted to go with. So everything he owned was also packed on in this trailer, and it starts on the list. I believe it's actually the third, fourth page. If you go right down to where it says PS4 PlayStation, everything to the bottom was his stuff, Xbox games, his stuff. He had some memorabilia from his father. And I think on the second page, you can actually see the word sons. We're talking about Thomas, sons this, sons that, sons this, to kind of break it up to what was his.
So on the next page, that line that said son's Amazon Fire tablet, is that the last thing that was your son's on this, in this document?
Let's see here. Yes,
Okay.
yes.
And so on the last page,
I should say that his father's ashes were part of this. Again, it's not tangible, but it was a hell of a thing to have his ashes disappear too, that he had just gotten from his father who passed away.
okay, so on the last page of this document, when you totaled it up, you came up, what number did you come up with?
It showed total for the items 347,120, and truck insurance payout value they valued it at 19,486, and so a total of 366,605. If you took the truck out of it, it would be 347. It's a change.
And so is it your opinion that if you subtracted all of your son's property out of that total, what would the amount be then? Would it surprise you that when I did the math, it's more like 312?
Yeah, it wasn't much, but it was his stuff. I mean, game cartridges, a couple of fossil watches. I mean, if you go down the list, it's nothing high collector value or anything like that. Some mementos from his father. He had a little tool bag with some tools in it. I kind of did the task with him like we were doing. We were doing the task for us, me and Rachel, trying to put everything together, and I had him do the same thing to kind of reconstruct what he had packed, and it wasn't much.
So we went through a lot of photos today, right? We showed the jury a lot of photos, right? Is everything in those photos, is that reflected in this list?
Let me try to understand. Yes, because it was items that were remnants of what was left. The stuff that's in this list wasn't in those photos. I mean, it was in the photos, but it wasn't representative of this list. I mean, everything of value is gone.
But I didn't enter as an exhibit a photo of every item that's in this list, did I?
No, you did not.
Did you recover all of the items that were on this list?
No, we did not.
What was the toughest thing that you didn't get back?
Strangely, all the collectibles, I try to compartmentalize it like this. I mean, if I die tomorrow, I don't get to take any of it with me. Rachel, she struggled more than I did in that area, but definitely cheated our kids and grandkids out of any lineage or history of us. Because I was the historian in our family. I have two brothers, an older brother, younger brother, and an older sister. And I was trusted with everything. I mean, because I'm the collector guy. I was a lot like my father. And so pictures and memorabilia from my family, from Rachel's family, going back, great grandparents. Pictures, videos of the kids when they're growing up, those kind of things. I think those stand out as tangible, even though they're not money assigned to them, because they didn't give a penny for any of that. All the collectibles, I don't love anything, you know what I mean? So I didn't, but I miss not having my collection. I lived in my collection. That's what I did. It was my pastime, I took great pride in what I had, and how I displayed it, and I'd rotate my display, and that was, of the different things. So for me, it was family photos. My father, for instance, he was a martial arts instructor. I have a few photos on my phone that were pictures of those photos. But his crowd that he ran around with in the 60s and early 70s, Bruce Lee, Chuck Norris. I got all these photos of him and my dad's students with him. And we're talking Chuck Norris when he was a grand champion, not Chuck Norris's Walker and all that kind of stuff. And Bruce Lee when he was Kato and the Green Hornet Bruce Lee, not the Enter the Dragon Bruce Lee. So but I had all that. And I had photo books of that I really, really wish that I still had. Because I have no copies of them. I just had a few that were snapshots of them that are still on my phone, of my dad, my mom, my brothers, that kind of thing.
Judge, I'm sorry, I need to take a quick break.
Okay.
All right, everyone, we're gonna take a break.
Yep.
All right,
Yeah.
so remember my instructions, all right? All right, everyone.